You get your guitar out, you're ready to play, you slide your hand down the neck to play that great big E chord, and your fingers start to bleed because your frets have just sliced them open. Is your guitar destroyed forever? No, relax. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Let's get nerdy. Fret sprout. I've gotten a bunch of questions recently about this and how do you fix it? Is it something that you can do at home, or do you have to take it to, a highly qualified, really expensive guitar repair guy? Yes. That all depends on you. Are you comfy with actually trying to get in there and do this yourself? Or are you a little apprehensive and you think, yeah, I should probably have somebody else do this for me? You're going to have to weigh that one out. I'm going to show you how the whole thing works, though. Depending upon the time of year and where you live, weather conditions, temperature, humidity, all kinds of stuff are going to play a huge part in fret sprout. What's going on is the wood on your guitar is shrinking. That happens from a lack of moisture in the air. So here in the United States, we see that, particularly in the Southeast, where I am, we see that in the wintertime whenever humidity levels drop to next to nothing. When that happens, all of the wood in the guitar shrinks. Well, guess what? The frets don't do that. The frets aren't actually sprouting. They're staying right where they've always been. The wood is shrinking. If you didn't do anything about this, a few months later, it would kind of correct itself. But you want to play your guitar right now. To fix this, you only need a handful of tools. A lot of the tools that I'm using today, you'll be able to find at stumac.com. Let's take a look at what those are. A fret leveling file, fret crowning files, fret end shaping files, needle files, a few grits of sandpaper, preferably 150 up to 320, thumb protectors. That one's for me. If you're schmancy, some sanding sponges. 320 up to about 1500. We can break this whole process down into 3 steps: trimming, reshaping, and polish. Let's take a look at trimming. So let's look at a cross section of the neck so you can get an idea of what I'm actually doing. This represents sort of a cross section of the neck, whereas, here's our fretboard here, and then this little section there, as well as the end of the bevel, that's where the fret is hanging out over the side of the fretboard. So for my 90-degree pass, whenever I come in with the fret file like this, it's that spot right there and this little bit of an overhang here that I'm trimming back to be flush with the fretboard. Then I end up with that little dude right there. So when I come back and do the bevel this way, we remove a hair more material here and usually end up with a little bit of a bevel right there where the end of the fret meets the fretboard. That helps to roll the fretboard in just a little bit, make the whole thing feel a little better. This is more of a representation of the side of the fretboard. So this is after we've cleaned up our 90-degree pass here, and it's taken care of our fret tang, and it's taken care of just that little bit there of the end of the fret. Our crown, if you look on the side of your fret, if you do this, you'll probably see lines that sort of look like this. Those are the lines that you're going to find that are left by the file. How do you get that out? I use the same tool, and I will take varying grits of sandpaper, usually with an adhesive back like these, and I'll stick them directly onto the file, and I will go through the exact same motion on both sides. Here's how we reshape the fret ends. That's whenever we come back in using the crowning file or some other file, the triangle file or the 1175 or needle files. When I use the diamond crowning file and I make those 2 passes this way, those light passes, what I end up doing is I'm sort of rounding over this sort of section right here. So it takes that sharp edge off. That's why I come in with the triangle file, and whenever I'm using the triangle file, it's more like this. So it's hitting here and here. What that does is it ends up taking a little bit of material away like that. So it helps to round in that much more. The last little bit is that thing that you feel whenever you slide your hand up and down the neck and you feel those little sharp points sometimes. That's these guys. We catch these sharp points right here where the fret meets the fretboard. We catch those with that 1175 file. I like to use the flat side of the file, so when I come in with the file here, I'm aiming for that little point. We've removed those little tiny points with the 1175. We've removed these sort of shoulders with the triangular file, and then this entire crown section right here is rounded over using the crowning file. Once we use the sandpaper and do the rake, but you would end up with a very nice, round, smooth shape. And after it's polished up, it's super shiny and super, super comfy. Finally, let's look at the polish. So my favorite metal polish to do frets is this semi-chrome. You can find this stuff on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for this stuff. You could also use just regular buffing compound on a buffing wheel. Once all the frets are nice and shiny, then, man, just put the guitar back together and play it. That's really all there is to it. It's not tough. So with a little bit of courage, a little bit of patience, now you should be able to tackle that fret sprout issue the next time it occurs. This works for any guitar that you would have. Don't let something like this seem like a huge mountain that you can't get over. This is a relatively easy thing to fix. Nerds, I need to know, was this video helpful for you guys? Maybe you guys already know how to do this, and that's awesome. If you do and you have other techniques and other ways of doing it, I would love to hear about it. Please let me know down, in the comments. I got a name for it now. Maybe that's what it's always been called. Leave it down there in the comment section. I want to hear about it. Do you use different tools? Do you have a different approach? As always, please, you guys, like and subscribe. That really, really helps me out more than you guys could ever imagine. If you've got an idea for next week's video, let me know. I want to hear it. Until the next video, you guys have a good weekend. Don't do anything weird. Or don't tell anybody, okay? See you next week.